But first, remember Don Lemon, the CNN host who was sacked after saying that the then Republican presidential candidate, Nikki Haley, was not in her prime.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that.
Yeah, the bloke is one of those walking contradictions who tries to force his progressive opinions on people, all while being an utterly terrible person. And after being cancelled, he still hasn't learned his lesson. Elon Musk gave Lemon a show on X after he was sacked, which led to this sensational interview.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats?
I don't have to answer these questions.
The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
And after the interview, Lemon went onto CNN to accuse Musk of pushing the Great Replacement Theory and radicalising Americans to commit crimes. His evidence for this serious claim was a tweet Musk had made criticising Joe Biden's open border policy and suggesting unmitigated illegal immigration benefited Democrats electorally.
That sort of rhetoric that he talks about, the Great Replacement Theory and migrant invasion, that's what radicalized shooters use in their manifestos, those exact words. The people who go and shoot up people, whether they be Latino people who live in Texas or black people who are in a supermarket in Buffalo or Jewish people who are worshiping, those people use the same rhetoric, that they are tropes, that they're either racist for Latinos or black people or for Jewish people. And I wanted to know if he felt any responsibility as someone who has one of the largest social media and information platforms in the world.
250 million people.
A 250 million people. I think it's 455 or 500 million users a week. And it doesn't seem that he feels that he has any responsibility with that because he seemed really averse to facts. That facts did not matter to him. It didn't matter that he retweeted things that were offensive to people.
A few things to unpack from that. If you're going to accuse someone of radicalising people to the extent that they commit shootings, you better damn well have evidence to back that up. That is an absurd claim that has no bearing in journalism or reality for that matter. And hasn't Lemon learned his lesson when it comes to the idea of offence? He lost his entire career because he said something offensive. And still, after losing everything, he thinks it should be a crime to say something offensive. Now, after Elon was accused of radicalising shooters, it is no wonder this happened. Elon Musk abruptly cancels Don Lemon's X talk show hours after the interview. Lemon isn't banned from X, even though he spread a crazy conspiracy theory with no evidence, just to be provocative. But Lemon still doesn't think there is anything immoral about doing that.
I asked him to do it. He willingly agreed to the interview. Throughout our conversation, I kept reiterating to him that although it was tense at times, I thought it was good for people to see and hear our exchange and that they would learn from our conversation, learn more about him, learn more about me. But apparently, free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me.
What a slimy snake of a man. And when it all goes south, Lemon is the victim. Joining me now is the Australian's Darren Davidson and wordsmith and broadcaster, Kel Richards. Thank you for joining me. Kel, what do you make of this, particularly when you have this very prominent, very progressive, left-leaning personality who wants to tell us how to live our lives and to be more moral, better people?
Well, if you're woke, that's your role in life. If you're woke, your role in life is to tell everyone else where they're wrong and why you're so good. It seems to me Don Lemon suffers from delusions of competency. This is a man who he's fallen into the trap that some journalists fall into. Tucker Carlson has. It's interesting. He was sacked from CNN on exactly the same day Tucker Carlson was sacked from Fox News. And both of them have got the same problem. They've fallen into the same sinkhole. They think they're bigger than the story. If you look at that last grab of Don Lemon, it's him saying, well, this wasn't about Elon Musk. This was about me and Elon Musk. And he was getting to talk to me and people would learn things about me. I mean, you've got to understand, and we as journalists do understand, it's about the content, it's about the facts, it's about them, it's not about us. We're providing information for them, not for Don Lemon. I am here to tell you everything about me and how wonderful I am and how you should be thinking and agreeing with everything I say. So I'm sorry, there's nothing about that I find likeable.
Yeah, Darren, I thought it was quite funny that he goes on to CNN to make these really wild claims that Elon Musk is somehow responsible for mass shootings. Doesn't have the evidence to back it up. But then when it all kind of backfires and he loses his contract, he actually has the audacity to turn around and say, well, no, I thought we were just doing a friendly interview. I wanted people to get to know the real Elon Musk. It's a bit disingenuous, isn't it?
It is, and I'm surprised CNN had him back on after those highly offensive comments he made about women that you've drawn people's attention to. I mean, like Kel, I noticed in that clip that you've just played that he said, I hope people would learn more about Elon and me. And as Kel said, the whole point is not to learn about Don, it's to learn about Elon and his businesses. And I think the other thing that struck me about the clip that I've seen, and I haven't seen the whole interview, it's boring. It lectures and hectors the audience. It's CNN on X. And there's a reason why CNN is in trouble. The ratings are cratering. People are turning off. And if the idea and concept for the show was just to do what he was doing on CNN on X, it was never going to work. So it's probably the right decision that Elon's canned the show.
Yeah, and Elon does look a little bit bored there as much as he does look perturbed by the line of questioning. But the full interview will be released by Lemon to his YouTube page on Monday, so we'll get a chance to see.